Hello, welcome to Beve with Ben, episode 78. Alright, finally getting into the groove and getting a bit of a roll on. So, alright, well, I will send a link to these intro songs and outro songs for this week's podcast that I've added to the Spotify playlist, Beve with Ben playlist. So, today's songs went in was Never Going Home Tonight, which is a new song that's been released by David Guetta and Alysso Madison. So, hope you enjoy that one. The link will be on the podcast. And also, to close it out, is an oldie. Now, if you have watched the movie The Beaches with Leonardo DiCaprio, you will know this song. But it's All Saints, Pure Shores. So, I hope we enjoy those added songs onto the Beve with Ben playlist on Spotify. Alright, well, beer of choice. Hazy IPA from Ocean Reach. Now, I can't remember where Ocean Reach is. I think it's in Victoria. But it was an okay drop. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. They do have a couple of other beverages in their range. I did find them on at the bottle shop at the Prince. I haven't seen these before, so I generally will try and pick a new beverage every week, and unfortunately that's the way it goes. Some you find some really good ones, some you find some ordinary ones, sometimes you find some bad ones, but yeah, this one was just the okay. So Hazy IPA Ocean Reach. Alright, well, yeah, getting into the flow. There'll be a lot discussed in this week's episode. I'll go through Training Peaks and Strava, and then we'll also have an athlete interview from Heather Duffy and her OCC experience. We've got up-and-coming Sydney Marathon coming up, and you would have seen posted the SNL Kosci Honeymoon in Newy training camp, and also the SNL Pub to Pub for Christmas. We'll go through Coach's Corner and discuss some training zones with Dr. Will O'Connor. And then, we'll discuss a couple of training points for Coast to Kosci and get the session into going. But also, next week we'll have a couple of QS with Ben from a couple of new athletes. So I'd like to welcome two new athletes to the team, which is Erin Brown and Hayden Styler. So Erin will be attending on a Tuesday morning at Lambton and some Thursdays at the trial session. And Hayden will be joining us at Maitland on a Tuesday afternoon, and also on the Sunday long runs, which a fair few of you would have met Hayden in a couple of weeks, and last couple of Sundays. Hayden has UTK 50k coming up. And guys, so shout out, introduce yourself to the group. In the next couple of episodes, I will have a QS with Ben with them, so you can learn a little bit more about them, and then we'll get into it. So, alright, well, let's go on to Strava, and we'll go through training from last week. I'm trying to think, but I don't think I actually ran on the Monday. I think I had a bit of a recovery day. I think I mentioned in the episode last week about my knee, basically. It was a little bit sore, so I did get through 35k on or 40k on Sunday, and it felt fine. So I just basically slept in on Monday morning and did the gym session, and thought, well, there's no point, just give it an extra day, give it rest. Not going to do any harm. But yeah, so Monday afternoon at One Tribe, so we did glute activation, and we did superset. So 2 quad exercises, 2 glute exercises, 2 hemi exercises, 2 abductor exercises, and then we finished off with a tri plyo set, so a little bit more power in the session. I think we did a couple of squat splits, split squat jumps, some power jumps, and some alterations with the sliders. But that was a good session. And as I didn't run, I just stayed back and did some hip mobility, some strength, and some extra strength work on the glutes and the core. Did a little bit of yoga, working on the core and the stabilization. But just did some hip mobility, strength exercises, and some work just to loosen up the hips, and work on just some extra exercises for the knee as well. But that was my Monday. Tuesday onto Lambton, and nice session for the Tuesday morning. We did 5, 4, 3 times 2, so 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, with a 60-second recovery between each, and we did that 2 times. and then we went into some 400s. So yeah, the idea of this session was for the 5 minutes to be at sort of your half marathon pace, 4 minutes slightly faster, and 3 minutes faster again. So as the session went through and the time went shorter, just to pick up the pace a little bit, only slightly, sort of maybe 10 seconds, maybe about 10 seconds faster as it went down, and to repeat it twice. But the 60-second float, so just jogging nice and easy, just recovery, letting the system reset, getting your heart rate back down, to kick back through. So yeah, two rounds of that, and then the 400. So the 400's pretty much at your sort of 5k pace, just a hard effort for 400 meters with a 60-second recovery again. But really good group, big group. It was a nice session. It's a good session just to go through the different zones, and obviously progressing, going a little bit faster as well, which is always good. But yeah, that was Tuesday morning, and SNL Maitland for the Tuesday night. It was again 5:43, just progressing again a little bit faster. So then we only did 400s this time on the Tuesday night, just the way the session worked. We had a bit of a slightly longer warm up and longer cool down, so just time wise it was easy to just do 4. But yeah, the guys did very well, just pacing along with Craig, Hayden, Caleb and Matt. So yeah, it was we went off at 4:30 pace for the 5 minutes, 4:15 pace for the 4 minutes, and 4 minutes for the 3 minutes, times 2, pretty much bang on those same times. And then the 400s we did 3:30, 3:28, 3:25, 3:20. So getting slightly faster as the 400s went through as well. So yeah, nice solid session, good workout. Ended up being about 11k. But Matt getting ready for City Marathon. It was good to tick through those zones and shake the legs out, getting ready for the week ahead. Wednesday morning I just got up, did 5k foreshore, just nice and easy loop. 5 minutes pace, 25 minutes, just shaking the legs out after the session. Was interesting, was going to see how my knee pulled up after a bit of faster work as well, and it was fine. So yeah, just nice easy jog, 5 minutes, then into one tribe with a strength session. So we did some hemi and glute activation, did a few little extra hemi and glute exercises to start with, and then we went into a tricep with the hemis, 3 different hamstring workouts, 3 different quad exercises, and then we did a bit of a core set to finish. Before the session started, after my run, I did a bit of a session beforehand where I just worked on some pistol grip squats, some sissy squats, some hemi bridges, and some split squats with some alternating lunges as well. So just more work around my hips, my knees, and just that extra strength work as well. But yeah, I had fun in the morning as always, and into the afternoon we had Pure Run Maitland, and Melissa Ralph was the lucky winner of the free entry for the Sydney Marathon and received a nice little Fixed Nutrition pack. So thanks to Fixed Nutrition for that from Mel. And it was Maitland Parklift for Pure Run. We had Melissa pacing us through. I think she was basically holding around 4:15 pace for the 2 laps. So we did basically 8k at about between 4:30 and 4:15, and a little bit faster at times, Melissa. But yeah, she gets excited. And then I just I think I just ran an extra 2-3k afterwards to close it out at 10k, and 10k 4:30 pace average. It was probably a little bit faster for the over 7k, but yeah, nice easy session. Nice, not easy, wasn't totally easy, it was just a steady session. And but that was Pure Run Wednesday. So this week coming at Pure Run, not this week, not the next week, but but on the 18th of September we will have On Cloud doing a wear test at the Maitland store as well, which I'll talk about that in the next week. But yeah, Thursday morning, SNL Trails. Good. I do enjoy this workout. It is a tough one, but we did 3 hilly tempos. They're basically 2k in length. But yeah, nice warm up down the bottom of Gun Club Road, and you start at the top of Snakes and Ladders. You run about 300 meters down before you take that sharp right hand turn that leads you all the way down to the beach. And then hit the beach wall at the picnic table. Hit the picnic table turn left along the fire trail, hang 10, and then brings you around to Snakes and Ladders and the nice climb up Snakes and Ladders. So it's a good workout, good set. So you get a nice steady downhill, and then when you hit that little trail that leads you down to the picnic table, it's quite technical, so you got to get your fast feet going. You get faster cadence, get your awareness about your feet and your coordination. So yeah, it's a good little workout downhill, and then you get the nice fire trail, and then you got the climb all the way up Snakes and Ladders. So it's a really good workout to get done. But yeah, we did 3 laps, three hills, and then a nice steady jog all the way back. So that was the Thursday morning, and it was the same session for the Thursday afternoon. So ran with Pete, Jason and Jess. Mitch was there as well, but he only did 1 rep because he was feeling his calf a little bit, so didn't want to risk anything. Smart. And called it a night and just jogged back. But yeah, it's a great workout. Obviously a little bit different when you do it in the dark, but good technical downhill and got the nice steep climb. And the thing about Snakes and Ladders, it just feels like it goes forever. You get to a corner and you think you're almost at the top, and it swings you back around again. So it just feels like a hill that never ends, but it's still at a runnable hill, but definitely gets your legs burning by the end of it. So another solid workout for the Thursday. On to Friday. So this is where my runs are going to be longer, Fridays and Sundays. But yeah, I was chatting with Dylan during the week, and he was saying that he would like to join some of the long runs on the bike if he could, but he sold his bike. But I have got a bike sitting in the garage collecting dust. So I gave him my bike, and he joined me on the run on the bike. He had his brought out his GoPro as well, so he got some footage of running and that sort of stuff. But yeah, well, 36k. Started at Barnsley, and yeah, ran all the way into Sugarloaf, up and around Sugarloaf, down the other side of Sugarloaf into Cameron Park, and back around Barnsley. So 36k, 8,400 metres of climbing, and just over 3 hours. So just kept it a nice, probably zone 2 pace, just nice and easy. Just focusing on, the aerobic zone, not trying to go too fast, and just ticking along, feeling nice, comfortable. Was able to hold a conversation quite easily, and nice little workout for the legs. Knowing that it was going to be a big weekend ahead, but yeah, felt good. No issues with the knee. And yeah, just a steady long run. It did get quite hot out there. It started probably at about 20 degrees, and I think it probably got up to about 25. Really felt the sun going in around Cameron Park off the road. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, good little test for legs, good run. And then in the afternoon, I just went for a little shakeout, 5k around Lambton. After a nice shower, applied some of the skin doll on my legs just to refresh them, and just to ease them a little bit. So just to ease some foam rolling, and nice recovery to shake out the legs. Was just more or less just seeing how the legs were after the long run, and just get them ready for the weekend. And yeah, felt really nice and comfortable. Right before going to the pub with to watch the Tigers and Eels match. So Jason is a Tigers supporter, I'm an Eels supporter, and so Pete, Jason and I met down at the Prince to watch the footy, and good to see the Eels get a win. And we actually met the Knights coach. He was with his wife about to have dinner, but he ended up sitting with us and watching the first half of the footy with us because he was trying to screen. So we had a table right in front of the TV, so he sat with us, and it was nice to meet Adam O'Brien, a really nice guy. Told us what the Knights were going to do against the Dolphins, and the way the game played out on the Sunday is exactly what he said. So all the best for them this coming weekend against the Cowboys. But yeah, really nice guy, friendly. But yeah, it was good to catch up with Jason and Pete at the pub and have a beer and enjoy the footy. And then Saturday morning, got up nice and early and did a 10k run around Lambton, just 5-minute pace, 50 minutes. Was nice to actually sit down and enjoy the morning and have a coffee. Don't really normally make time and have time before work on a Saturday to to sit down and relax after a run. So it was nice to sort of stop at it. I think I stopped at about 8k and had a coffee and then ran the last 2k home. So yeah, it was a nice, easy Saturday morning, enjoying the beautiful spring weather. On to Sunday. So yeah, nice big group turned out on Sunday morning, and we started out at Sugarloaf and ran down to the base of bottom of Wakefield and back up, and then I ended up doing an extra rep of Sugarloaf Road as well, just to get some more elevation and to get a bit of road running in the trail. But yeah, the guys did very well. Zane joined us for the first time on the Sunday long run, so good to spend some time with him on the trails. He's doing his first 50k in Kosci. But yeah, just kept it very easy, kept it steady. Being with the group, I was ran down to Wakefield with Terry, Zane and Hayden, and then I basically came back solo, getting a nice rhythm running up the hills, and then regroup with them back at the top, and then they all finished their run and left, and I went down and ran down the bottom of Sugarloaf Road and back up for the last hill rep to close it off at 40k. So 40k, just over 1,100 metres of climbing in about 3 hours and 40 minutes. So yeah, Dylan was out there as well. So Dylan came out on the bike for the last little bit as well with me. I think he rode about 50k on the day. So that was a good time on the legs. And thanks for Dylan coming out again. And yeah, getting some footage of the crew and the team running. So it looks like the team doing really well. The long run's now starting to build up for Kosci and Tarawera and all those fun events coming up. But yeah, good to close out the week though. Did it, and then I knew my mileage was going to be higher this week than the last couple of weeks. I had a bit of a down week last week, just in precaution and just making sure the knee was okay. So I think I only did 107 k's last week. And then I think I was about 120 the week before, so I knew the week was going to be high. So I did promise myself I wasn't going to waste my time. Wasn't going to bother with a double run, and I just wanted to go to the gym and doing some extra strength work. So yeah, in the afternoon got to the gym, did some squats, some deadlifts, some thrusters, lunges. Not too heavy, just probably around sort of that 60 kilo mark. Just at my sort of body weight. Basically just lifting my body weight. So would generally try and get up to about 80, 90 kilos, but just didn't want to go too heavy. And then finished off with some different, some rehab exercises for my knee, some split squats, some squat presses, bridges, thrusters, that sort of stuff. So nice afternoon session before heading back out to the pub. So I was meeting Mitch at the pub to watch the Knights game, and it ended up quite a few of us joining. Alicia, Nicole and Linda had a charity lunch at Bartholomew's, so by the time the football was halfway through, they all joined us, and Brett was there as well, and Terry. So ended up being quite a nice afternoon, catching up with a few different people. But yeah, good to see the Knights get up as well. And as I said on the Friday, the Knights played to what Adam had said they were going to do, and they hope they beat the Dolphins beat the Cowboys this Saturday. But that was my week. 149.6 kilometres and just under 3,000 metres of climbing. So yeah, could have gone and run 400 metres, and I could have gone and run 80 metres up the hill to get the elevation over 300 metres, but 3,000 metres, but there was no purpose. There was not the purpose. Ticking it up, building it up now, so my Ks will be very similar over the next few weeks coming. All right, well, let's look at what's happening next week. So next week, as soon as it loads, it'll be the Monday strength session. So obviously this weekend the Sydney Marathon is on, so a lot of people will be recovering. So if you do come to the strength session, it'll just be a lot more body weight mobility and stuff like that, just to flush out the legs, some stretching. For those that aren't, we'll be doing the session, and obviously might go for a run beforehand, or I'll probably run after. Now the session on the Tuesday is a longer session, longer reps, more to the point for people that if they are doing Sydney, they're just going to be jogging, so at least they can still be involved in the run, but just jog through. So instead of being faster, they might just jog with someone that's yeah, not all. There'll be there's a couple of people that are just jogging because they're coming back from injuries and that sort of stuff. So it is 1 mile reps. So for Lambton and Maitland, it will be mile reps. So it'll be anywhere between 3 to 6 efforts across the mile. It'll be 90 seconds recovery. So you're trying to work it around that sort of 10k pace. But yeah, nice workout, especially if those that they've done Sydney, they can just jog and recover. Wednesday, strength session, and where I was mentioning before about Pure Run with the On Cloud. So On Cloud are going to have some wear tests. So they're going to have the Cloud Runner 2, the Cloud Monster 2, and their new Cloud Surfer next. So they're also going to be handing out a free pair of shoes. So come to Maitland on Wednesday for 6 o'clock start. And yeah, if you haven't worn the Ons before, or if you haven't worn the new versions of the Ons, definitely come out and try them on, go for a nice run with the group, and also you could win a free pair. So Wednesday at Maitland, come and join us. Our Thursday session will be a new loop. So for the trail session in the morning and the night, it'll be a new little loop. It's a 1.3k circuit. It's got a couple of good climbs, some nice single track, and a good fire trail downhill to finish. So yeah, it's got a nice climb to start with. So a nice steady climb, probably for about 200 meters, and then it goes into some single track, which is still slightly uphill. And then you start onto the fire trail, which is down the hill. So you have run on lots of different sections of this loop, but a loop that we haven't quite put this run all together into one loop. So looking forward to next Thursday on a different loop. But yeah, it's about 1.3k, so we'll be doing anywhere between 4 to 5 efforts on it. And then Friday for some will be nice and easy. For me, I think I'm going to be running out at Wakefield. Now Saturday is a bit of a yo-yo. So that session where you work under your 5k pace and over your 5k pace. So it's broken into 1k. So 1k under 5k, 1k over your 5k, 1k under your 5k, 5k over your 5k, and then 1k under for. So it'll be a nice little warm-up, cool-down in between. But yeah, basically, yeah, trying to go over and under, yo-yoing around your 5k pace. For Sunday will be somewhere we haven't run as a group before, out at Colburn. So Broken Back Mountain. So it can be 30k. So basically you'll be getting about 900 meters climbing. So it's starting at Colburn and you're running up Broke Road, which will take you about 14 k's uphill, and then obviously options to turn earlier if you need to. But yeah, basically out and back. 30k, you're following the one road, and yeah, it's thanks Hayden for reminding me of this hill, because I completely forgot about it and didn't realise how much elevation it did have in that 15k. So thanks for sharing for that, and that's where we'll be running next week. And I thought we'll be out at Colburn, so why not go to a winery or a brewery for lunch afterwards. So next Sunday at Colburn. There also is the trail run at Tom Marie, and also the Great North Walk Ultras as well. So I know there was a couple that have registered for that as well. Did plan on going down to the Great North Walk, but just with Kosci and just with everything that's been going on, I just didn't get around to do it, just especially because I'm doing Sydney this weekend. So yeah, that will be the run next Sunday. All right. Well, yeah, so that's it next week. Looking forward to it already. And yeah, so you would have seen me share a few things that are coming up towards October. So it's going to be a very, very busy October. So Sydney Marathon this weekend, the Lonely Mountain Ultra in the first week of October, and then at the end of October you will have the training camp, which will be the SNL Honeymoon Kosci in Newy, which I'll talk to you about that soon. But let's get into an athlete interview. So let's talk about Heather Duffy's OCC. So how did the build go leading up? Really well, I think. I knew I needed climbing legs, so I spent a lot of time building that strength up. Also, I knew it would be warm, so I spent a few sessions in the sauna. What was the goal for the race? I knew I had 4 climbs. to get through, and the cutoffs were going to be tight. What shoes did you wear? Well, I was planning on wearing the Brooks Calderas, but when I tried them on over there, they were a bit tight on my feet. I can assume that's the effect of the heat and the altitude, so I ended up wearing Linda's old Hoka Speedgoats, which were perfect. So very, very good. At least you had the backup plan, and there you go, you had an option. So well done. What was the best part of the event? The whole just being there. There you go. What did you find the hardest section, or what did you find the hardest section or part of the race? After the third climb, the Triumph to Col de Balme section, the climb itself was all the others. Was like all the others, about 4 to 5 kilometers, but 700 to 800 meters of elevation, each one being steep and rocky. However, after this climb, there was about 4 kilometers of, although flattish, it was quite big and rocky, a big and rocky trail, some of which had chains attached to pull yourself up and over. It reminded me of the Lara Pinta trail, running along the ridges and the rocks, hopping around the headland of the beach at high tide. I was thinking how dangerous it would be running in this section at night. And around every corner I was hoping I would see the checkpoint, but it seemed to take forever. The heat also made it tough out there. Yeah, you would have been running in that sort of late afternoon, the hottest part of the day in Europe. So yeah, and that is a tough climb. That is probably the steepest climb you have. Although, like, you've obviously got those long, massive, big climbs, that section coming out of Triumph is very, very steep and winds forever. I definitely know what you mean. What didn't work or went bad? Everything went okay. The aid station food wasn't the greatest, so you didn't like the salami or the cheese. Lots of that about. And being so hot, I was filling 4 soft flights each time I could, plus I had another litre in my back. I had studied the course really well, but had misjudged the length of the rocky climb sections, so then started getting a bit worried about cutoffs than I had thought was going to be a problem. How did you overcome the challenge? Just kept concentrating on the 4 climbs. I knew what I had to do. 4 Strava safety biscuits down, plenty of water fountains around, so kept drenching myself. So yeah, especially running through that Switzerland section, there's lots of, running through the towns, there's like lots of little water fountains to cool yourself down, so they're very handy indeed. What went well? Pleased with the hydration and the nutrition, pleased that I spent about 10 days there before acclimatizing to the heat and the altitude, and to see what the terrain was like and was going to be on the race. I also think I did okay on the technical downhill stuff. Once my brain realized that the rocks weren't going to move when I stood on them, I was able to go faster than I usually do. What was the worst moment and why? The word brutal has been thrown around a lot. It is a very, very tough course, but I actually enjoy the challenge of the whole thing. Worst moment was probably when the cut-off time for the last checkpoint at the top of the final climb ticked over, and I realised how close I was, and thought back to standing at the bottom before that climb, where I would have spent about 5 minutes forcing some dry biscuits down and trying to get 4 full soft flasks arranging into my pack. Pulling out the headlamp and giving myself another soaking from a nearby water fountain. But even that wasn't too bad. I knew I had made it up the 4 climbs. Well, yeah, you made it to the last climb of La Flagère, and you did the climbs, you did all the hard work. Did you celebrate? Not really. The whole trip was amazing, and although everything had held together during the race, afterwards my knee swelled up and was so painful to the point that I was swallowing Panadol just to get some sleep for the next couple of days. Appointment with Jess has been made. What's next? I do have an entry for GNW 30, but I'll see how I feel closer to that. I'll sort out the few niggles, like my knee. Looks like I'm also sweeping a section of the UGK. Then I think I'm going to be chasing someone around Tarawera for a bit. The whole UTMB thing was really inspired me, and I will try to get back to the good old days, though. Really, really inspired me, and to try and get back to the good old days. I was very proud of what I did over there, and I know I am capable of better. Well, thanks for sharing that, Heather. And yeah, you did so well. And couldn't be any prouder to see how much you pushed yourself. You worked so hard in the build-up, and to see you execute on the day, the numbers may have been a little bit against you with the cutoffs. They're very strict over there, as you found out. But you gave yourself the best opportunity. You made it all the way through the four climbs. All you had was 6K downhill. Instead, you had a chairlift down, which I'm sure your probably legs thanked you for that anyway. But you did so well, and congratulations. You gave it your best shot. You gave it everything that you had, and really glad you had a really good experience out there, and you should be very proud of what you achieved. So thank you for sharing. Hopefully I will have Benn's race report to share with everybody soon. He was very, very sick after the race. He spent about 2-3 days in bed afterwards. He was vomiting and on the toilet for a good 48 hours. He was almost going to go to hospital. He was that sick. So he's pushed himself and his system. Everything obviously shut down, and the day he was leaving for Italy, he actually came good, so now he can enjoy Italy and enjoy his holiday with the family. I'm glad that he probably had those extra 2-3 days in Chamonix after the race to recover, which his body obviously needed it. But yeah, hopefully now he's enjoying himself in Italy, so we'll touch base with Ben shortly. But yeah, all right, cool. So it's going to be a busy October. Lonely Mountain Ultra on the 5th on long weekend. So obviously the week before I get married. So then the week I get married. Then we're going to have the SNL Kosci Honeymoon in Newy. And then, some more fun Sunday's adventures. But let's go over so on Saturday, the 26th of October, we're going to be having a point-to-point run. So there'll be options for everybody. We will be looking at starting at Mount Fork Road and then running all the way through to Conjoy. So nice climb, then running kits, and then going to be hitting Waddington's HQ, which is where a second group can start. So if you want to run shorter, you can start at Waddington's HQ. And then there is another option to start at George's Trail as well, which will then shorten the run again. But it's basically nearly 37k. It's over 1,000 metres of climbing. We will be finishing at Conjoy Public School, but starting at Mount Fork Road. So obviously you get the nice climb to start with, then you get some levelling open fire trail with a couple of climbs on your way to Conjoy, and then you get a nice steep downhill where you descend down onto the road on Conjoy Road, and then you run all the way around to the school. So the options would be the whole thing, 36k, or if you want to do a little bit extra, you could probably loop back for a few people on the road. The next option is 20 to 26k, which is if you start at Waddington's HQ, or a little bit less if you start at George's, so about 20k if you start at George's Trail. The other option too is that you start at Waddington's HQ and you finish at the bottom of Conjoy Road, where we can obviously probably organise a car to pick you up. So there's options for everybody, whatever works, and whatever, however it, whatever you feel like. Obviously there's going to be another day of running as well, so you're going to have to work out what's going to be best for you. And then on the Sunday will be a different route again. So yeah, there'll be options for everybody. But yeah, so that, and then we'll probably go for lunch. We'll maybe just go to the Valley Brew House in the Hunter Valley. It's only 20-minute drive, so we might just go there for lunch. And then on the Sunday we'll be kicking off another long run, just doubling up. But it'll be Sugarloaf to Pub. So starting at Mount Sugarloaf and getting nice and running all the way down into Wakefield, and then following the G&W course. So once you sort of get to the to Sugarloaf Range Road, Wakefield Road. That obviously becomes the G&W trail, and we'll be running the G&W course from from Wakefield all the way through to Whitebridge. So there is a couple of different options for people to do shorter routes. So if you start at Sugarloaf and you finish at Dudley, which is where we plan to finish at the Royal Crown Hotel, that'll be 43k, so quite a long run. So that's where we'll discuss options for everybody. They might do a bit of a shorter run on the Saturday, or they'll do 2 medium runs on Saturday and Sunday. So basically, starting at Sugarloaf down in through Wakefield all the way through to Taralba. So there'll be a point at Taralba that you can start, which will then make the run about 25k. And then, or you could start at Warners Bay, which makes the run about 15k. So there'll be a couple little points just following the G&W. So into Taralba, out around Warners Bay, through to the back of the school. And then following the G&W all the way through the back into Charlestown, and then into Whitebridge, where you pop out of the Fernley. So instead of continuing on the G&W and turning left to head into Glenrock, you'll turn right and stay on the Fernley all the way through till you get to Whitebridge, and then you'll turn left again off in behind the Station Street, which will take you to Whitebridge Shops, and then you turn left again onto Dudley Road and follow Dudley Road all the way down to down to the pub. So Sugarloaf to pub. So there'll be, and then obviously we'll have lunch at the pub and celebrate. There will also be a session on the Saturday afternoon. I'm just got to tee it up with one tribe, but a bit of a recovery session. So they'll have ice baths, saunas. So I've just got to tee that up on the Saturday afternoon. But so it'll be a Saturday long run with lunch, a recovery session in the afternoon, and then Sugarloaf to pub on the Sunday. All right, now it's not far away from Christmas. So there is another option for everybody to celebrate Christmas. So our Christmas adventure will be pub to pub. So I'm working it out, but we'll work out the route shortly. But it'll either be 2 laps around Newcastle, or it'll be a point to point. But I think the 2 laps around Newcastle is going to work better for everybody to jump in and out of. So it'll be basically you run a marathon, or you can run a half marathon, or you can run 10k, but basically there'll be every 5k or roughly thereabouts, there'll be a pub stop where we stop and have a beverage. Doesn't have to be a beer, can be a wine, can be a shot, can be water, can be whatever you want. But basically so we'll I'll select a route where we'll be starting at, say, Dudley or Lambton, for instance, and then do Dudley all through into Newcastle, back out to Lambton and back around. But something different, just something to celebrate end of year. So I'll keep posted. I would have posted the details already onto the group, but hopefully that date can work. Can be a little bit flexible with it as well if need be. So Christmas adventure, pub to pub. All right, well, it's been a couple of weeks since I've done an actual lot of answering some athletes' questions on training zones, but I was listening to a podcast with Dr. Will O'Connor, and he's got a couple of YouTube videos. So if you just look on YouTube, Dr. Will O'Connor, it'll come up and he will be discussing a couple of his methods, a couple of things that he did. He's I think he's ran sub 2:30 in the marathon. He's done a couple of ultra marathons as well. But basically, about his training zones is typically based on heart rate, either with pace. Well, the way he works his training methods based on either heart rate, running pace, or power meters, depending on an athlete, on the athletes that he's coaching, and whether it's also going to be running or cycling as well. But these zones are designed to target specific energy systems and optimize different aspects of their fitness. So, such as your aerobic capacity, your lactate threshold, and your VO2 max. So he has 5 training zones. So your first training zone is 1, which is the active recovery. So the intensity is very low. The heart rate's only about 50 to 60% of your max heart rate, but like same sort of what everybody else. But the purpose is obviously to promote recovery and help clear, excuse me, sorry, metabolic byproducts from previous high intensity workouts. So yeah, flushing out the system. The duration is typically just used as a recovery or cool down around sessions as well. Perceived effort is very easy, can be and very comfortable, able to clearly carry a conversation. Now his zone 2 is his aerobic endurance. So the intensity is low to moderate. The heart rate is 60 to 70% max heart rate. The purpose is building aerobic base, improves fat metabolisms and increases endurance. God, I can't even talk. Fat metabolism and increases endurance. So that's purpose. So basically, pretty much what I was doing my long runs in on the Friday and the Sunday. Duration, long sessions, often forming the bulk of training volume. Perceived effort should be comfortable, steady effort. Breathing is controlled. Can talk in sentences. So that's where I always you sort of see when I put perceived effort. So that's based on that as well. But yeah, zone 3 is tempo. So the intensity is moderate to high. The heart rate is 70-80% of max heart rate. The purpose is to develop sustainable speed, improve your lactic threshold, and increases your stamina as well. Duration is medium to long efforts, often used for tempo runs or steady state efforts. Perceived efforts is challenging but sustainable, can speak in short sentences. So zone 4 is your threshold. So intensity is high, your heart rate is 80-90% of your max heart rate. Your purpose involves lactic threshold, increases ability to sustain high intensity efforts. The duration is short intervals or sustained efforts near race pace. Perceived effort should be hard, difficult to maintain a conversation, a focused effort. Zone 5 is your VO2 max, so intensity very high, 90 to 100% of your max heart rate effort. The purpose is increase maximal oxidation intake, your VO2 max, improve speed and anaerobic power. Your duration, short, intense intervals with long recovery periods. Perceived effort, very hard, breathing is laboured, difficult to speak. So how he puts this use of his training zones in his training. So 1 is base building. So a big focus on zone 2 training during this base period. So you're building a strong aerobic foundation. 2, adding threshold work. So incorporate zone 3 and 4 into workouts to improve your ability to sustain faster paces. 3, your high intensity training. So use zone 5 sparingly just to improve your VO2 max and anaerobic capacity, usually in the weeks leading up to key races. Your recovery, including zone 1 sessions to aid recovery after intense workouts or races. And 5 is his periodization. So adjusting the emphasis of different zones depending on your training cycle, e.g. like more zone 2 in early season, more zone 4, 5 as you're approaching race day. So that's where you're looking at your build from 16, 12, 10, 8, 4, 2 weeks out from races. You'll be obviously early, you're building base, and then as you get a little bit, then you're adding some threshold work in to build and improve your faster paces, and then adding in those high intensity sessions sporadically throughout that build and at key points to obviously improve your VO2 max and your anaerobic capacity. And then obviously your recovery runs, that's why sometimes you do double run days just to flush out your legs, etc. It's all periodized. So that's how he puts his zones into training. The practical application is obviously based on some metrics. So he does actually prefer power meters, I think he did say, just purely because your heart rate can be, and I've mentioned this in previous podcasts, discussing the benefits of using a heart rate monitor to the benefits of using a power meter. The heart rate can differ, and I mean obviously you got to be using strap because watches the new watches now are better, but they can, like, if you have caffeine, if you're sick or you're getting sick, if you don't sleep well, there's so many different variabilities with your heart rate, where a power meter tells it as it is. If you're running at a certain pace, certain power you release, that's what you're reading is. There's no variable on your body or sickness, or obviously if you're running and your power is at a normal easy level, but you're finding it harder to maintain, well, then that's obviously all relative, but the power is the power. So he uses those devices and metrics, so on, like, you link in with your watches, so then he can, then you have they're all particulated on your training zones. So obviously your zones are in your heart rate, or your zones are based on power. There's lots of different testing platforms that he uses in periodizing with his fitness tests. So you can do like lactic threshold testings for your VO2, so you can use more of your heart rate. Obviously there's you can do using a power meter, you can do your testing with your power, max power, and that sort of stuff as well. But understanding and applying into Dr. Will O'Connor's training zones, so they've structured their training to be to achieve specific adaptations, maximizing your performance and avoid overtraining. And this also helps you target and improve on your endurance, your speed, and overall race readiness. So yeah, that's listen to the podcast. I did share it to the group previously. Trying to think where it was on. I can't even think by memory. I can't actually remember where the podcast was, but I did share it previously because it has been about 3 weeks ago since I did have this talk ready. It's much of what basically what we've discussed in previous podcasts, and just understanding your training zones and making sure that you're working all areas. You're building your base, you're working your aerobic system, you're touching on that threshold work, you're getting some high intensity to improve your biomechanics and also your running efficiency. So if you're running faster, your mechanics and your efficiency will be better. So the more efficient and the better, you're going to save more energy as well, which is obviously going to make it easier for you to run and improve from there as well. There was another podcast I did share to the group regarding David Roach, who which I think was on the podcast, the Running Science podcast, where he broke the record, the course record for Leadville 100, the 100 mile in Leadville. So obviously a high altitude race, but he broke the course record, which hadn't been broken for 19 years, and just discussed his methods and what he did, and the amount of carbohydrates that he was consuming as well, which I might discuss that in a future podcast as well. But yeah, so that's how he sort of applies it and puts it into application with his athletes. But hope that sort of gives you a bit of an understanding of how it explains sort of what your program will have into place as well. But yeah, that's a wrap, guys. So thanks for joining for another episode with Beve with Ben. Keep posting the questions and updating races. Looking forward to the next couple of weeks. We've got some end of October coming up. We've got October coming up, which is going to be a really busy month. We've got the Lonely Mountain Ultra. I get married, and then we've got the training camp after that. So yeah, but Stroke and Limits Coaching, stick to the mantras of the 3 Ds: desire, determination, and discipline. Thank you.